Oh no, the hot glue gun melted the plastic. Do you ever have those moments when you look at a really expensive designer item and say, I could make that? Yeah, me too. Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Momo Makes. I'm your girl Momo and I do DIYs, upcycles and sewing projects. I am so excited to be here today. If you're a hoarder like me, you probably have a button and gems collection from the garments that you have purchased over the years. Most high-end garments come with these little bag full of gems and they are provided to the customer in case you experience any wear and tear. You can easily repair the garment. Well, today we're going to use these little gems to make a beaded brooch. This is a very simple and exciting project. Anybody can make it. It's a beginner level project. I'll guide you step by step. For this project, you can use any gems that you have lying around. You can use buttons, notions, little brooches that you might have, little pins, or you could just take a trip to Michael's or Joann's or your local craft store, or even check online. If you find something interesting, you can incorporate into this project. As with all my projects, everything is flexible. It's how you want to make it. I'm just going to give you an idea. Try to spark your creativity. So hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, and let's get started. Lately, brooches have made their way back on the fashion runways from the likes of Louis Vuitton and Schiaparelli. My inspiration for today's design comes from Pinko's Reimagine the Capsule collection. Pinko is an Italian women's fashion brand and their collections stand out for the eclectic and contemporary style. What caught my eye was this collection of beaded brooches. I think it's beautiful. For this project, you will need any gems that you have lying around. I have a collection of gems that are turquoise and green tones. With that, I'm mixing some yellow and turquoise seed beads for a tone-on-tone composition. For the backing, I'm using this light blue felt scrap. To sew the gems on, you will need matching colored thread or transparent filament, some tulle to add some flourish, and coordinating velvet ribbon. Let me make this project even more simplified for you. Start out by laying your gems and buttons onto the piece of felt and just play around with them and see what you like. Once you have a layout ready, then glue those gems onto the felt. Let that glue dry and then go in and sew on the threads, so that way you don't have the problem of having the gems move around too much. If you're using sew-on gems, they have tiny holes in them. When you're applying the glue, make sure that the glue does not get inside the holes. For the glue, you can use hot glue gun or you can use E6000. Both are very good. Once your glue is dry, you're ready to sew on the gems. You can sew the larger gems using the transparent crisscross stitches over the gem. Here I'm demonstrating this technique for you. Start by bringing the needle up on one side and push it down through the fabric diagonally opposite to where you were. Repeat this in a star pattern. To sew your smaller gems, run a couple of stitches through the holes, tying them securely in the back. Then move on to the next gem and continue in a sequence. This is the most time-consuming part of the project, but I turned on a podcast and thoroughly enjoyed sewing the gems. Speaking of podcasts, I'm really hooked on to the Fake Doctor Real Friends podcast right now. I love Zach and Donald. If you are a fan of Scrubs, Superman. Yeah, Scrubs. You will really enjoy the banter, risque talk, and pool humor. Let me know in the comments below which podcast are you listening to right now. The second technique I'm going to show you works for large and medium-sized gems, especially if you're using flat pack gems without holes. For this technique, you will cut a piece of tulle material slightly larger than the gem and wrap the gem in it like a samosa. I could have a samosa right now with a cup of tea. Anyway, wrap the tulle around the gem and twist the tulle until the gem is tightly fitted inside the stretch tool. Hold the twisted part of the tulle and sew it down, and then trim away the excess and you have a tulle wrapped gem with a fabric handle on the back. You can now easily secure it and sew it in place. If you want, you can add a tiny glue dot behind it as well. Now all my main gems are applied. I'm going to start filling in the empty spaces with the seed beads. I added the turquoise beads to fill in the spaces and give my design a filled in and cohesive look. I'm using a very thin beading needle for this. Seed beads are tiny and a regular needle can get stuck in the bead hole, so I recommend using a very thin needle if possible. I'm adding the yellow beads in a cluster to mimic the effects of tiny bunches of flowers. Some I'm adding in a line to mimic sprays of flower. Now take a sharp pair of scissors, preferably small scissors like embroidery scissors, to give you more control. Carefully cut away the excess felt, staying close to the edge of the beaded design. Be careful not to cut any threads or your design might unravel. Next, we're going to add our flourishes. I'm using this long strip of tulle to create a frilly edge on my brooch. Along the length of the strip of the tulle, put in some basting stitches and pull the thread to make the ruffle. Position it behind your brooch to see how long the piece needs to be. Idea is that it should be uniformly distributed around the beaded part. Once you position it in place, sew it down. I'm going to assemble the outer velvet ribbon edge. For this, I'm using this 1-inch ribbon, and I'm going to roughly cut pieces of ribbon long enough to make loops that peek out and extend beyond from underneath the brooch. Position these loops in a pattern that looks nice to your eye. I played around with it for a little bit and to figure out what looks good, and pinned the ribbon to the main body of the brooch. Okay, so this is where we are. Back side, this is what it looks like. I've just pinned everything together right now, and then I'm going to go around with thread and needle and make sure that everything is stacked down properly. And then I'm going to also heat up my glue gun, and I'm going to put in some glue dots just to give it some strength. For the pin, this is bead lending from Michaels, and these are 1-inch bar pins, and it comes with this this sticker thingy attached to a hard plastic. And what I've done is that I have taken off the pin off of the hard plastic. The top of the box of berries, this is like hard plastic, and I'm going to punch 2 holes and put the pin behind and cut an oval shape that would go as a stay piece or a hard piece underneath, and then I'm going to cover that with this piece of felt. Take a piece of plastic, lay it on top of the brooch, and draw an oval shape or any shape that makes sense. It could be a square, a circle, or an oval shape. Next, cut out 2 holes for your pin. Place the pin on top of the plastic and mark with a Sharpie, and then cut out 2 holes. Use the plastic to cut out an equal sized felt backing to cover everything on the back. Cut out holes for the pin in the felt as well, just like the plastic. At this time, I realized that the plastic I'm using is too soft, so I'm using this grocery store membership card, which is a much harder plastic, as the stay piece behind the pin. I made the mistake of using the high heat glue gun, and it melted the plastic a bit, but whatever, it still works, so it's all good. I switched to E6000. It's going to be covered by felt anyway, so nobody's going to see the melted plastic. So here it is, my hand beaded brooch. I think it turned out very beautiful. I love it. It's such a beautiful deep turquoise blue. It reminds me of patches of moss around a sparkling pond inside the deep jungle, surrounded by tiny little yellow flowers swaying in the breeze. Let me know in the comments below if you like this project. Brooches are a versatile piece of jewelry. You can style them many ways. You can add it to a coat lapel or a wool hat, or embellish a denim jacket. You can wear it on a shirt collar and wear a necklace underneath it for a layered look. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week. If you choose to make this project, please tag me on Instagram. My hashtag is MomoMakes and I would love to see how you made it. Again, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys next time.
Time for a love potion, a little sweet and spice. Throw it all in a cauldron, mix it up real nice. Fire in my eyes, stir counterclockwise. I dream of you all night. Fill with emotion, follow the signs. With this love potion, you will be all mine. I'm pulling you closer to me. You're finding it harder to breathe. The magic is taking over your mind entirely. I'm the only one that you see. I got what you want, what you need. Before you know it, you are falling deep in love with me. Little sweet spice. Made a love potion for you. Little sweet spice. Made a love potion for you. This is the moment, no turning back. One drop on your lips and the spell will take effect. Under the moonlight.